here with us today, both in the 6 in the B2B and 6 in the B2C category. And so we're going to have a great discussion with all of them, and we're going to talk money. And I mean, this is such an important topic right now, right? We're in the middle of crisis, energy crisis, inflation. There's a war going on. There's pressure, economic pressure, deglobalization, and so on and so on. Many things are going on at the same time. So we want to know what's the impact on money for organizations and money for the IT department. So let me bring our different panelists here online. And here we are, the 8 of us, and let's talk money. So what I wanted to do is, let me maybe put myself and Niels here down in the corner. What I wanted to do is first let everybody introduce themselves. So if Rangel, if you would maybe want to go first, if you could say who you are, what's your role, Equinor, tell us what is the company all about in a nutshell, and what's going on with your money. Do you have more money, less money? What is the result of all the pressure that's going on today?
Sure, Hendrik, I'd be happy to. Well, my name is Åshild Hanne Larsen. I work in Equinor, and that's a broad energy company that's headquartered in Stavanger, Norway. We have about 21,000 employees in around 30 countries at last count. And as you said, my role is to be the Vice President for Subsurface Excellence and Digital, and that means that I have the global responsibility for digital projects, all our data, the toolbox, technology implementation. So there's never really a boring moment. There are a few challenging ones here and there, though. We are, of course, perhaps in a slightly different situation compared to the rest, because I am in an energy company, and due to the trends that you just described, Hendrik, we're actually in a situation where the price of energy, both when it comes to oil and gas, peaked in 2022 with levels at $120 for oil and 300 euros for gas. So we have had a significant increase in revenue, but we're not happy about the reasons for it. Mm-hmm. But the result is that the technology budget is actually increasing in Equinor. I have to say that we do try to keep our IT operations budget fairly stable, but the investments are really growing, and it has been that way for the last 4 years or so. So we have really stepped up our investments into digital and cloud, and on a corporate level, we've also increased quite significantly our cybersecurity spending.
Okay. Very good. And we want to know all about where you're spending your money, how you make your decisions on where to do the next levels of investment. So you're in this very special situation, of course. Let's go around the table here. Jean-Christophe Wiets, you are the CIO of Husky Technology. Tell us all about yourself, your company, and what's going on with your money.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening for the one joining remotely. Jean-Christophe Wiets. So I'm a global CIO of Husky Technologies. So Husky Technology is a global leader in injection molding technology, where we have the headquarters in Canada, close from Toronto, but as well plants all around the world. So our business is around selling those technologies in different areas of plastic business, which is mainly around medical and as well everything related to beverage packaging. And my role as a global CIO is really to lead the team, through various digital transformation with the business, but as well maintaining, all the digital capabilities around the globe with a global team and a global footprint. Very exciting time, obviously. Lots of challenges, but a lot of great stuff happening. So there's not a moment where, as a CIO, have no great things to think about. In terms of budget, when we are thinking about the way that we're transforming the business and be supported by digital technologies, Husky has invested quite a bit the past years in the digital technology and increasing our footprint in terms of digital technologies on the end-to-end processes. And the budget for this year remained flat, so still lots of transformation on the go and activities in order to support the business in terms of transforming in this changing world, and great projects in front of us, but really rather focus. And as well, obviously, when we are thinking about inflationary cost and everything that is happening around the world, obviously, with a flat budget, it's really around managing, tightly the budget with all the inflation around, and ensuring that we can still deliver, at the pace and the expectation from a digital standpoint.
Okay, very clear, Jean-Christophe. Flat budget, but through inflation, I think you need to do more with less, like many people nowadays. So Hans, let's go to you. You told us that you are in a Dutch winery at the moment, Hans. Tell us all about that, and tell us about yourself and your company, please.
Just for preparing for this session, Hendrik. But indeed, Hendrik, delighted to be here also with the audience and I would say the fellow panelists here. So I'm the CIO of VTTI, and we are a global leading storage provider for energy and other essential products like chemicals globally. And really, if you look at my role, it is being the enabler for IT within the organization, and an enabler for growth, but also an enabler to keep our things stable. So I think Ashit was also saying we are investing a lot in resiliency, cybersecurity, for example, and we are in the vital industry. So very important that we keep everything safe at our site as well. Coming to the budgets it's not about remaining flat. We will be investing more, but that has also to do with our growth ambitions. So you talked about, Hendrik, about energy crisis. One of our aims is also to be one of the ingredients to solve that energy crisis, to store energy products, also new products like LNG, RNG, we will talk about that later, hydrogen, globally as well, to make sure that we have a sustainable provision of those products. And for me, my team, it's to make sure, together with our business colleagues, that we can deliver that services on the global level.
Okay, super. This could well turn into an energy discussion and a sustainability discussion if we don't watch out. But so tank storage of energy, fuels and chemicals. Thank you so much for that introduction, Hans. Miguel, you come to us from the beautiful city of Porto in Portugal. Very warm welcome to you. Tell us all about yourself and your organization.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Hendrik. Nice to see you again, Nils, okay, and to all the other panelists, okay, greetings. So my name is Miguel Cordeiro. I'm the Director of Information Systems at Rangel Logistics Solutions. So Rangel is a Portuguese multinational company, okay? Apart from Portugal, when it was founded in the 80s of last century, we are present also in markets in Africa and South America. So our business is logistics. We provide the whole portfolio of logistics service to our customers, from freight forwarding, contract logistics, express and parcels, customs, and all set of added value services. Okay? Regarding the budget, so logistics was a sector that has experienced a fast growth in the last 2-3 years. So the pandemic, it was not the same for all, indeed, and logistics was one of the business that saw a fast growth in those 2-3 years. So this year, 23, it will be a consolidation year. Okay, so we are very cautious in terms of the inflationary scenario. Okay, we know that keeping up the growth rates from the last years, it's not easy. Okay, so we are not pessimists, but we are cautious. So 23 is to consolidate, to make sure that every euros that we invested in the last years are in the right place and that we can extract full value from it. So it will be a consolidation year.
Okay, super. Thank you for that, Miguel. So in logistics, coming out of super exciting COVID times where everything completely changed, and now consolidation. Robert, you are the downstream CIO at Shell, so big energy player, household name. But tell us a little bit more about yourself, your function, and your organization, and what's going on with your money.
Yeah, sure. And good to see you, Hendrik, and good to see the panelists. It's a pleasure to be here. Indeed, global CIO for Shell's downstream businesses, which basically means all our customer businesses, B2B and B2C, but also our chemical and energy parks and our trading businesses. Being the CIO of, let's say, our customer businesses, I think in today's world is an interesting job and a very responsible job, I would say, because the role that technology plays for a company like Shell in trying to thrive to the energy transition is paramount. Yeah, Shell's launched its new strategy last year, which we call Powering Progress, and actually articulates the quest to become a net zero company by 2050. But maybe more relevant also for me in my role is that an essential part of that strategy is around the orientation of becoming fully from the customer back. And what we actually mean with this is that the understanding in terms of customer requirements, and whether it's in B2B or B2C, is going to be very important to make sure that we understand the pace of change and our ability to actually supply the products that our customers need to actually thrive through their energy transition. And just to give you an example, the requirements in aviation or the steel industry or marine will be very different. And actually probably the pace of the transition will be different. So it's going to be important for a company like Shell to stay in tune with those requirements and to make sure that we help them through the decarbonization journey. I think the comment around, let's say, the money, we've been living in a world of high demand for digital for the last couple of years, and I don't see that changing, to be honest. In a recent publication of the International Energy Agency, I think it was stated that roughly 50% of the CO2 reduction that we need to achieve by 2050 has to come from new technologies. And those new technologies will include digital technologies like AI. So I think the translation of that in terms of how we actually are digitally transforming our business will continue to see a high demand for this. Now, I think what is changing, maybe less in terms of the money that we're spending, is in terms of how we are spending it. And we may want to talk a little bit more later today, but I think the notion to be more transformational and actually drive lasting value in the context of the strategy that we're pursuing is definitely a bit of a theme.
Okay, super. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if we're spending money, and if we're more spending, where is it, and where can we create most money with the IT investments that we're doing today. Jochen from Frankfurt, could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself, Lufthansa Cargo, and what's going on with the money in Lufthansa nowadays?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the introduction, and hello everybody also from my side. I guess everybody knows Lufthansa, not only here in the third round, but more or less globally. Lufthansa Cargo is maybe not that well known. We are basically the logistics division within Lufthansa Group, so a group of its own with about 15 subsidiaries. I'm the lucky one to head the IT department of Lufthansa Cargo for now a little bit more than 7 years, quite a long time, in a really fascinating business, and it's much more behind the scenes than you actually see when you board a plane. You probably know that sometimes you put a pallet or one of these aluminum containers into the bellies, but all the processes behind are much more complex actually than the passenger business. And this is what makes the job really never boring and always really fascinating. So we serve about 300 stations worldwide, a global network of production with basically all group airlines which fly somewhere. Lufthansa Cargo is also there. We have our major hubs in Frankfurt, Munich, Vienna, Brussels, and maybe you maybe heard the news, another one in Rome to come. Still speculation, but we are actively participating in the consolidation of the European aviation industry. Mm-hmm. And Lufthansa wants to get back to place rank number 1 as soon as possible after we have first survived and then somehow optimized during the crisis. And we all know that probably no other industry has been that hardly hit by the pandemic like aviation. It was pretty different in logistics, so we had a lot of tailwinds actually to keep up the supply chains, to bring in medicine, medical goods, to keep up the supply chains. We all remember the scarcity of semiconductors 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and all that around. And So actually, we were the only money-making company in the group, but times will turn again. How do we spend our IT budget and money? I would say we don't get more money for the future, for the next years, but in some sense, some better money. We had to do a lot of homework, replacing legacy, do some homework in terms of security, IT security, data protection, and so that, homework stuff in IT. We had a backlog also during the pandemic. We were literally 36 hours away from bankruptcy. And here you really check every cent, every euro twice before you spend it. So we are now overcoming that backlog again, have eliminated a lot of technical debt also in our IT landscape. And we now switch from replacing IT really to driving digital. And for example, our booking environment, we had a lot of old systems replaced, and now investment in our commercial layer, pricing, revenue management, capacity network management. In this sense, it's not just after spending many million euro for a project to get just the same after you have finished the project on a better technology, but now really adding value to the whole company by making processes, customer service better.
Super. Thank you for that introduction, Jochen. So we've got a good idea of who we have here in the room, Nils. Maybe you can take the conversation to the next level here.
Yeah, and I'm struck by about half have a flat budget going forward. Some others have an increase, and so we have some variation there. I think the consistency across all the finalists here is the environments in which they're working and trying to generate value are evolving rapidly, right? We heard from our colleagues in the energy sector, their customers are trying to become net zero as their own organizations are too. And there's a lot of uncertainty around that. There's a lot of uncertainty around how do we generate value for our customers. And that's actually what I'd love to ask the panel here is, okay, well, given the budget that you have, what would you highlight has helped you generate value for your existing customers?
And
who wants to go first?
Yeah, maybe Niels, shall I take, I would say, the first stand on that? Because thanks. I think, like I said in the beginning as well, our budget is in that sense increasing because we are not only looking at our current business model, but we are also looking at the future business models. So you can imagine with future business models, we have also new customers. So our customers that are using our oil, gas and chemical products might be different customers than that we get from our renewable gas, for example. Also, the supply chain there is differently being set up. We're dealing there with farmers, feedstock, which we do not do with, I would say, our other products there. So it is our task also as enablers with digital to make sure that also those new business models deliver value to our customers, and not only for the customers, but also to our own organization in that sense as well. So making sure that our teams have insights also in the customer, 360 view on current customers, but also on future customers there. And you made also the comparison there, or I would say the relation to net zero. We all have, our companies have ESG targets, making sure that we reach certain levels of sustainability, of course, in future years. And I think, I'll give you one example, we still have a lot of our technologies on premise. It's really hard to show from that side how much investment you can do to become a net zero. By putting our technologies also in the cloud, it becomes much more visible how much scope 1, 2 and 3 emissions for those that are familiar with those definitions to show what we are doing there. So it becomes far more transparent where you put your money and where your ESG targets that you have, not only for yourself, your own organization, also for your stake, your shareholders, and also for your customers. So that is making sure that we really deliver value, but we also deliver our results towards the energy transition and net zero targets that we all have. That can only be done by using enabling technologies.
Yeah,
That's great. Who could add to that, please?
yeah, maybe I can add to that. So over the past years, Husky has been, focusing on the customer journey and helping customers towards, helping them to better understand our technology, but as well better react to events that would happen. And we've been, developing cloud technology to connect, our customers everywhere in the world to our cloud environment to be able to provide analytics and advanced analytics that will help them for efficiency gain or downtime and uptime reasons. So to get a better sense around how the technology is used and what we can improve, and as well supporting to our customers to a better end-to-end process through services and support. In the time where obviously there's inflationary cost and things like that. So efficiency gains is on top of mind of everyone. And every technologies that are developed and the business model developed towards this area is critical. And we've been, investing a lot business model and technology combined together in order to support this specific area. And the time coming, obviously, as the world is changing from growth to less growth at one point. So there's this fluctuation, and we need to be always ready with technology and shift our focus from a technology standpoint and delivery to support the customer where it's most valuable, and bring and transform the business with this digital technology in order to scale around the globe those value drivers, and really focusing on efficiency gain and supporting our customers to be more efficient is a key enabler that we are focusing on, already in the past, but moreover this year in order to get a better for our customers.
And so much around customer centricity tends to focus on B2C, but all of you are right B2B. Where it's just as important as you're reporting. In the B2C world, customer centricity is often anchored around, say, Net Promoter Score. What I'm hearing from some of you are some of the key metrics that you use to guide your efforts in becoming more responsive to your customers is around efficiency, their own internal efficiency, enhancing that, their net zero journeys. As we hear from others, if you're able to share some key metrics, that would be really valuable.
Sure, I think I can add to that. So, logistics is a very standard and streamlined business. So everyone wants to do the things in a very plain way and very efficient. So one way to differentiate on such market is to be able to deliver specific solution and specialized solution to customers, give the customer that special attention. So, and indeed we invest a lot in creating those specialized and individualized experiences. Okay, and customers, they see great value on that because they expect from their logistics partner efficiency, so that they themselves can be efficient. Okay, so we spend a lot. Okay, and one of the things that we want to give to our customers is those solutions that enables them to be very efficient. Okay, and they rely on us for that. Okay, and we find a way to differentiate from our competitors in that space. Okay, by producing very special solutions for our customers. So that's one of the key strategies that we have been used since forever. It's part of the company DNA, and it's been providing its benefits.
And maybe Niels,
I'd love to build a little bit on that, if I may, because in Equinor, we're in the middle of an energy transition. As you stated, Nils, we're becoming carbon neutral by 2050, increasing our renewables business, and basically that's all financed by the revenue from oil and gas. And that means that we look at value through a couple of lenses. There is value in saving costs so that our revenues go up. So we do everything we can to measure and deliver on that by doing renegotiation of contracts and data cleanup and cleaning up the portfolio and so on. But I think the thing that has impressed the business most is that we've actually been able to measure the cash flow impact from some of our digital improvement projects. And our projects in the subsurface have actually contributed hundreds of millions of US dollars to the bottom line. And we've managed to do that by using, for instance, technology and data to try to increase oil recovery so that we get more out of the reservoirs. We have used fiber optics in our wells to avoid shutdowns that would normally force us to close down production, and we would be missing out on that value generation. And we've also used artificial intelligence in our AIM project, where we look at how we most efficiently can automate drilling of wells and the well paths so that we're actually able to access resources that we wouldn't have been able to access through manual well design. So those are just a few examples of things we do and how we try to measure it.
And that brings savings of 100 millions?
No, we can't brag about the hundreds of millions of saving, but we can brag about hundreds of millions of additional cash flow. But we did, the last year we reported, we actually saved about 20 million US dollars in our IT portfolio by working it thoroughly and going through all the contracts, all the licenses and applications and so on. So that's something we do on a regular basis, because even if we're currently in a situation with very high energy prices and the accompanying revenue, our industry is very volatile, and it can just as soon shift back to a reality where we need to be profitable below $50 per barrel.
So you were able to save 20 million in the IT budget by renegotiating and looking at and what's your super tip? What is it that everybody can immediately take from that? What was the best part of that?
I'm going to have to disappoint you, Hendrik, because this is building stone on stone. So it's caring about the $1 in every opportunity, not looking for the big things, but actually pushing yourself to care about what seem like the little things, because it all adds up. And I think that's our main learning.
Okay. Good, Jochen?
If I may echo on what Miguel just said, logistics is highly standardized. This is in some sense good. On the other hand, it's a natural blocker of innovation. Whenever you want to change something, you always need the buy-in of the whole industry. You need to undergo, in our case, it's IATA, the Global Association for Air Transportation, and it takes literally sometimes decades to further develop standards. So what we try to do for our customers, adding on the standards, really individual solutions, technically mainly based on APIs and sometimes also AI-based processes. Our clients, of course, want to have efficient partners to deal with, but also high quality and high transparency. And they want to get real-time information as far as possible during the flight itself. But where's my flight? Is there any irregularity coming up here? Maybe due to some flight cancellation, whatever, a day of delay. And if you book air freight, you always are looking for a transport within days, not weeks or months, as for sea or rail roads. And this is why air freight is so teuer, but also extremely time critical. And it's transparency. Where's my shipment? Will it arrive on time? If there's some irregularity, if it's temperature controlled, do we really keep the agreed temperature bandwidth? And so do we refill dry ice on time? Do we care about animals, for live animals, and so? And it's also about quality. Air freight still comes with a whole bunch of paper. We call it a pouch with sometimes 16, 18, 20 different documents attached to a piece of freight. And whenever there is some comma missing or some something isn't clear, you get trouble at the import, export, trouble at the customs, and all of that, if it's written paper, causes a lot of trouble. And the more we move towards digital interfaces and digital documents, the easier and faster the processes are, especially with customs and airport authorities. So digital is for us not only a driver of efficiency, but also transparency and customer quality.
This is super helpful. Thank you. And so you've all described some quite impressive ways that you're generating value for your customers, whether it's by providing them with greater transparency, more specialized solutions, whether it's helping the business generate the bottom line value that it cares about, cash flow from operations. There's all these metrics that are clearly your focus as you innovate. If you could now maybe share some critical success factors that help you best translate these what must be a lots of promising ideas into actually scaled up innovations, changes that enhance operations, or that create a new offering for existing customers. Or Miguel, you highlighted that you're also focused on completely new kinds of customers, and generating new sources of revenue. Part of your challenge is you have lots of great ideas, but not enough resources to pursue them all. And even those ideas, some of them you'll learn aren't that successful. So as you reflect on critical success factors that help you translate ideas into actual value, what would you highlight has helped you, so that those listening can maybe kind of have a list of things to look out for?
Sure. I think the most critical success factor is the correct alignment between IT and business goals. Okay, and that is something that this year particularly we are taking special attention. Okay, so we are going over a deep review on our IT alignment and business goals. Okay, we want to make sure that every investments that we do, okay, they get the return that we expect. Okay, and that they attend the economical context that we are living now and we expect to live during this year. Okay, so basically, okay, I don't think I have a magic formula. Okay, I don't have one, but what I am taking more consideration is to have a clear alignment between what are the business goals, what they expect from IT. Okay, I have to be very realistic with them when proposing new technologies. Okay, try not to go into the trap of new technologies, toys for the boys. Let's just try. No, it has to serve a purpose for the business. So at the end of the day, it's all about IT alignment and the business goals. Okay, and it takes it's very time consuming, and it requires lots of communication, lots of alignment. So I would say, if I have to list number one critical success factor, it will be IT alignment with the business goals. Okay, communication, be very near to the business leaders. Okay, make sure we understand what they want and that they understand what we say also.
It's essential, and then translating that into commitment as well, business commitment, because you need them for the whole journey, right? For the whole journey of the initiative, and that's not easy. Building that commitment, not just the alignment, I know is difficult for many of the companies I study. Who else wants to add? Yes.
I'd love to again build on that, because I really support you there, Miguel. But we have a tip that may help people who don't feel that they have this fully under control, because it is all about the commitment. We have to think very carefully about what technology we implement, because it has to be a technology that the business will receive and that helps them work more efficiently. And to try to make sure that we do that, we actually run an annual business needs and business opportunities process where we involve representatives from the different parts of our business. And on a monthly basis, we meet with them in an improvement arena where we review the activities and the key opportunities and issues, and we track the portfolio and the value creation so that we make sure that we are able to both educate them and commit them to the common agenda that we have agreed. And I feel that that helps me at least make sure that there is this line of sight from technology to business result, and that the technologies that we roll out actually receive priority.
And I think, Niels, it comes also back to where you started with there, that the entire C-suite has a responsibility for digital. And I think Miguel and also Ashit, they both allude to it, that it's IT alignment. But I heard also the word education. So it's very important that we not talk only about the technology part, but talk with our customers, our business colleagues also, how we can drive value together, and how do we also define what value is. Because we can all say from a digital perspective that value is, for example, process efficiency, but it becomes then very hard. How do we measure that efficiency from the baseline that you already had? So that is a constant dialogue that you must have with your colleagues, the business, but also your customers, so that you can show the value from the complete value chain. And I think that that's our bridging, what we have to do also as CIOs, to make sure that we can connect the dots there. I think that is our most added value that we can drive within our companies, that we become not only IT as a cost center, showing it's costing a lot of money, the projects are really cumbersome and they take a long time to deliver the value, but really making sure that we connect the dots there. And maybe one last remark about scaling it up. Before we scale up, you must really show also that there is value already in what we call the minimal viable product. So first show with a little investment and in little time that you really can create value. And if you then have the confidence from your business colleagues or your customers that they see also the value in that, then you can scale it up. And then you can also release the funds to get it done, because you already have shown it that you can do it also in an experimental phase. And maybe the last point, innovation is not always about doing new things. It's also about making existing things better. And that's an important part in our business as well. It's not only about new things, but also utilizing things that are already there. There's so much unlocked potential in data that we have within our companies, where we, our teams, it's responsible to show what we already have.
Okay. Small announcement, Niels, sorry to interrupt. Our friend Robert, who was in Bangalore, sends us his apologies that he had to leave us. He was feeling a little bit unwell. Hopefully that's not the cure that's playing against him. So we wish him a speedy recovery. So we will not see him again. That's really a pity, but let's continue, Niels.
Sure. I just wanted to highlight, I mean, you all have made such key points. In my research, a fundamental shift has been actually in the definition of what constitutes a digital innovation worth investing in. And Hans, as you just said, that definition is getting wider and wider. It covers a much broader range, because with digital, more and more top-level management teams are realizing that, like you said, it's not just the sexy new business model. It's also new ways of retaining our existing customers. It's around the employee experience. It's around operations. And a lot of it is doing more with what we already have. So that last point just resonates with what I'm finding. And you all bring up all these really important aspects of how do we not just make sure we're aligned with the business, but then what's it going to take to really get them to commit to generating value from digital innovation, given these broad definitions. I don't know if anyone else wanted to add some critical success factors that they realized.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, I think I'm going to echo Hans on the fact that, what is really critical once we align with the business, I think focus is key. Number one, because a lot of people have a lot of ideas. There's a lot of things to do, more than we can deliver, and focus is one of the key factors. So take the couple that get the highest value and run with it, rather than try to deliver all at once. And at the same time, try fast and scale fast. And I think when it's about try fast, is around POV, proof of value. So meaning that it's not only a technology enablement, but as well a value enablement, and making sure that there's a value perceived and monitored and tracked. And the second piece is around scale fast. The role of a CIO is underlying while the business is thinking about what value, and working with them to define what value is underlying, putting some technology, some frameworks, some architecture in place in order to ensure that once the business is ready, we can scale extremely fast the technology, and ensuring as well that we have a scalability that is not a rework after the fact. Very often the trap is to do an MVP that is not scalable, and then it's back and back, or scaling on an MVP that is not scalable at all, and then it cracks after a year. So really a tip there in order to ensure that we can bring value fast to the business, which I think is more and more important. So there's no appetite anymore, I guess, to wait 3 years before getting anything out of a transformation or a business delivery. So we need to focus in ensuring that we have in play already ahead of time, what is required in order to scale, in this environment.
I also think in the past, innovation was too much focus on technology only. Yeah, it was mainly technology drives innovation. Then you had a cool product, and the engineers were really super engaged to define something fancy new just because it works. And as you say, proof of value is the right thing. It's not the proof of concept or feasibility. And I think for a good innovation ecosystem, you need, as always in IT, I call it over the magic triangle. You need the right technology, the right people, but also the right processes and organization in place. And if one of these three fails, it doesn't work out. Technology is an enabler, not a purpose by its own. It's an enabler. It needs to be adopted and transported and understood and developed by people. But you also need the right organization and processes in place. This might be a fast fail culture or a culture of experiment and innovation. Of course, it's agile. At least one of us needs to stress that buzzword now. And it all needs to work together to be really efficient and effective on delivering innovation, scaling it out, but also rolling it out to the consumers and clients.
Okay, we've got a question from the audience, if you allow me, Nils, and that is it's about technology. And so we talked a lot about efficiency, to save money and to serve our customers better, create value for the customer. But in the viewpoint of the panel here, what is today the most important technology that has helped you to create efficiency in your organizations?
Well, for us, go ahead.
No, you were first. Sorry.
No problem. Hand in hand. No, for us, it's probably machine learning and artificial intelligence and the things that we've done there with automation of tasks and processes that have led to savings and efficiencies. I'm going to mention the artificial intelligence for maturation project again, where we use gaming AI to automatically generate well trajectories. And this tool can investigate or explore millions of options between the start and the end point. So it's in many ways like a robot standing outside a maze and identifying the best routes to take through that maze. And that can help us to find new reserves, but it also helps us save a lot of time because we used to do all that well planning manually. So we had a team recently who were planning to spend a week on their well planning task, and they did it in less than a day because they used that technology.
Okay.
So
Machine learning, very important. Jean-Christophe?
On our side, I think, as the technology span get bigger and bigger, specifically in manufacturing space, where maybe we were left aside, we didn't have all these technologies in place. It starts to be more and more important to have good integration strategy and platforms in order to enable end-to-end data flow and ensuring as well that the system are connected and well connected and robust enough to ensure sustainability of the solution moving forward. So ensuring that API strategies are well defined, architected is a key enabler moving forward, because we know that this big ERP system, monolithic, very complex, are very difficult to maintain. But furthermore, when we want to have more business agility, we need to be able to build these critical functions at speed. So it requires to have a good integration and a platform in order to do that. And as well, a data platform associated to that, obviously, because that goes in pair to enable all the other underlying technology, which is ML, artificial intelligence that Anne talked about. I think there's an underlying capability as well that is critical to scale, data as a service or data as a value for the business.
Yeah, I would like so if I had to choose, what has been providing more value to us in terms of technology, I would say integrations also, because integrations is what enables us to integrate front-end process with the back office processes, to what allows us to connect with customers and have streamlined processes, prevent data entry, prevent data errors. Okay, so it's a core in terms of our logistics business. Okay, and also another technology that we have been exploring and with very positive results is automation, with robotic process automation. Okay, robotic process automation allows us to automate and then integrate systems where standard integrations are not possible for some reason, because it's not possible, it's too expensive, we don't know how to do it. So, and robots here can help us to fill in those voids, so where the traditional integrations cannot be used. And indeed, I would say that these two technological approaches is what have allowed us to accommodate new business, okay, without the need for further investments. Okay, that's what allows us to grow, to accommodate growth without the need to increase the structure, at least in the same proportion. Okay.
And I think, Hendrik, maybe adding to that, I hear all kinds of new technologies, RPA, AI, ML, all terrific, I would say, new things being there. But we are ourselves also in a little bit more maybe traditional industries. So one of the things that we are doing is getting the data out of our SCADA system. So that is the operational systems that are operating our pumps, our valves, those kinds of things. They are 20, 30 years old. And you can imagine that getting the data out of those systems, which was earlier not possible, unlocks a lot of value, not only from an efficiency perspective within your own company, but also towards your customers. And you can imagine on top of that, you can do all kinds of nice things with artificial intelligence, machine learning, trend analysis, those kinds of things. But starting with the basics, getting it out of the systems, getting it connected in a secure way, and then aggregating it up so that people can see it in visualization in the dashboard, steer upon that, is adding great value on that part. So it's, I would say, unlocking what's already there. But then I come back also that innovation is not always about doing new things. And for us, for example, cloud is really something that is really adding value still for us. To be able to scale up on the global level. We still have a lot of stuff in our data centers. You can imagine that still is cumbersome also in the value chains to get your equipment, to get new technologies in. So going to cloud is not so much a lever to be more cost efficient, but it's able to scale ourselves in a faster way.
Okay, Jochen, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I also don't.
What's your secret ingredient? What's the technology or stack or that you can create efficiencies with?
Yeah, I also don't see this one or two key technologies. Of course, relevance is a bit different. We definitely do not need any blockchain. We also are wondering a bit why we do not need any beacons or autonomous vehicles in our warehouses. But yeah, the reality is that it is. The technology is simply not mature enough for our tough operational environment. But yeah, as Miguel also said here, integration is key. This is a huge progress for ourselves, but also for our clients to improve. This is supported by cloud, heavily supported also by APIs to overcome what I already mentioned, the limitations of years old standards. Data is definitely a huge lever for all purposes, whether it's revenues, additional revenues, whether it's better yield capacity management, but also efficiency, really to get a better understanding of all the data we have somewhere in our operational systems and warehouses, not only to get them together in a data lake, or I think now you call it rather lake house, to bring together both the BI and the analytics world, but also to empower people in the business who always have the better understanding on data than we in IT do, to use the right tools, to have the right access, to have the right data quality standards, requirements in place to draw value out of data. So it's indeed more the soft side of the innovation, not the hardware innovation, which are not yet mature in our business.
Another remark or a question from the audience, Jochen, what's the difference between good money and bad money? You talked about better money. Is there bad money as well?
Yeah, maybe bad money is not the right term. I would say it's necessary money to run the business. Yeah.
Okay.
Good money for me is they really get value out of it, not just doing your homework. Yeah, good money in that sense is adding value for our customers, efficiency, new business models. Yeah, not that good money is renovating legacy or taking care about regulatory requirements.
Okay, clear. Back to you, Niels.
Well, I wanted to pick up on the challenge of scaling, because until an initiative gets its innovation to scale, it's not going to generate bottom line value, especially the kind such as cash flow from operations. And so part of the challenge that all of you face is how do you help not just one or two initiatives scale, but dozens, if not hundreds of initiatives to scale? Could you share a bit more about critical success factors around this scaling fast? Again, not just one initiative, but you're responsible for a whole portfolio of initiatives.
Yeah, I think I support what Jean-Christophe said earlier ago about focus. So we know that there are plenty of ideas, okay, and that's good. It's good to have plenty of ideas, but at the end, I think it is important, and as leaders, digital leaders, is to put focus on top of the table, okay, and say, okay, we want to scale, of course, we want to get value from the innovations we are investing on. But at the end, we need to have some focus. Okay, let's scale fewer but good ones. So the good money, as we said earlier, and I think that's for me a critical success factor. So it's back to the focus. Okay, less is better sometimes. Okay, let's try to find out what is really relevant. Okay, and then put our chips on that. And sometimes that's not easy. It's because it's fairly easy to make mistakes, okay, to put to bet on the wrong horse, okay. So, but I think that focus it's very important there. Focus.
Yeah, and focus is very important also. Where do you focus on? Because that's the question. We're running about 2,000 initiatives entirely in our company. There, and you can imagine that we can say have focus on that or prioritize, but then the question also, what do you prioritize those initiatives against? And then it comes back to your digital roadmap and your business imperatives, that you really make clearly the link there What are your key business themes that you want to drive? Where can you also, as a digital leader with your team, add value towards those initiatives? And then focus on those ones and that you can scale them. And that sounds very easy, but it's very hard, because most of those initiatives that deliver the most value are cross-functional. So they are not coming only out of your team. You need the other resources as well that have different focus and priority areas as well. So this needs strict alignment, I would say, in all those silos, and making sure that you are working towards that goal. And therefore, it's very important that everybody really understands your business priorities, your aims that you're striving for, and how you can really translate that also in common goals for, I would say, people everywhere within the company, so that they know how you can contribute and how you can add value. But again, that needs a lot of communication in the whole chain. Where do you put indeed your money and your resources? And this comes back where we have scarce resources, really making sure that you really look at those pockets of value, that you can put those resources really to work.
The challenge, right, is to prioritize based on an initiative's value rather than its budget, and to be able to do that is incredibly complex from what I study, but is becoming essential, right? Especially given the dynamics of the environments that we're all working in, and how much so many different things are changing and evolving. And so that really resonates. Who could add more to this discussion based on their experiences?
Yeah, we currently also try to overcome the project-driven organization, which is always demand-driven. Yeah, I go to the board, ask for €1 million, and then I go to IT or to the providers and say, I get the money, please get it done, get it delivered. And then you do not have the right resources, or you didn't recognize any dependencies, whatever limitations. And we turn that now into value streams based on a fixed capacity, where we say, we want to spend, for example, €5 million a year on our booking process. This means 40 developers and 10, 20 business analysts and 2 architects. So every quarter we sit together now, do the PI planning. What is really important for the next quarter? We cut the demand down into quarterly pieces. Those requesters who are not ready to tell us the story, to write down the epic, will probably not win the competition on the resources for the next quarter, and probably come back 3 months later. And this is not too complex to organize it. It requires a lot of mindset shift, both on the business but also on the IT side. But it really works out now for our first processes, value streams, that we really understand, no, it's not about cutting your idea after 3 months, but tell us what you want to do in 3 months. Then we will review and prioritize again. And if you have a good story to tell, you will be on the lucky side to continue your initiative. And the others have an even better story from corporate perspective. It's their turn. And this works better than I need to admit, than I anticipated. But it requires a lot of professional change management, especially for a project-driven organization as we still have.
I can echo that it's really a mind shift. I think, as industrial, we are very much driven by project and technology. We have a lot of engineers looking at driving projects rather than value delivery, and that really it's not them against us, IT against business, is all together delivering value for the business. And there's a cultural shift, because I think the role of CIO is evolving. Not anymore be the supplier of the business and just providing technology, but as well being a partner in order to drive value. Because I think a process, data, and people cannot go without technology today. And I think it's a combined effort between the business and the IT working together to drive value. The IT cannot drive value by its own. Business cannot drive technology by its own. If we want the best out of both, I think it's working together to drive value. But it's a real mind shift. Not anymore project-based, time, effort and cost, but really value-based ensuring that we put the right money to the right effort, to the right value.
We have 1 minute left. Achille, and that minute is for you.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to sort of pull us back to the value part, because to me it's clearly about the triangle here, whether you call this or data, but data is in there, the technology is in there, and last but not least, the people. So to me, it's about building digital competence for people that is usable both in their current work, but that also sets the foundation for future work, and making our data and our experience machine readable so that we can reuse it, and then getting our tool and data stack into the cloud and implementing new technology, because those are all the foundations for creating value. And for a company like Equinor, that's basically about three things: improving safety, security, and sustainability, which we can do by removing people from work in risk zones or developing new concepts for low carbon energy. It's about automation and cost reduction and improved efficiency that we already talked about quite a bit. And finally, it's about increasing our revenue and our productivity by making better decisions based on knowledge from data. And I, for one, I feel certain that the value and transformation opportunities that are created in this intersection point, if you may call it that, between people, data, and new technology, that is really what's going to fuel the evolution, not only of the industry I am part of, but all of our industries. And that's incredibly, to me at least, incredibly exciting to be part of at this point in time. So I just wanted to sum up by saying that.
I think these are just absolutely important points, and thank you all for sharing so many great critical success factors around really generating value from digital. Beginning with this real intense focus and the generation of data around your customers and end users, if it's internal employees, but then the uses of technology to generate resources that fuel and help initiatives thrive to prototype, but then most important to scale, so that each initiative can contribute to the bottom line value that's the focus increasingly of what you're orchestrating. So thank you for sharing that. That's really key.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
So Hendrik.
Yes. We're coming to that was a super interesting discussion, and we're now coming to the exciting part of the day. And what I'm going to do is I'm first going to remove everybody from the stream here, and just the two of us left, Niels, because we're going to announce who will be the winner of the European Digital Leader of the Year award in the B2B category for 2023. And so these are the 6 beautiful finalists that we have. So Robert van Rutten from Shell, Jochen Göttelmann from Lufthansa Cargo, Oschild Hannelarsen from Equinor, Jean-Christophe Witz from Husky Technologies, Hans Geus from VTTI, and Miguel Cordeiro from Rangel Logistics Solutions. These are our 6 finalists. And so, first of all, Niels.
Well, I was just going to say, before we get to the winner, I would like to highlight the jury, who we rely on every year and are incredibly grateful for. The jury is dominated by past winners, so peers of digital leaders. These are digital leaders that won in the past, and we now have 10 years worth of award-winning digital leaders, and they form part of the jury. They look at a document that each finalist puts together that describes some key accomplishments and metrics related to the value of that accomplishment. And each jury member will then vote on the winning, their top 3 or top 4 finalists in each category. And what we do is we add up the points. So each jury member gets 10 points to allocate across those they think are really the strongest, and we end up adding up the points. each year, I'm telling you, it is getting more and more difficult to select a winner because sincerely, they are all incredibly accomplished. And every year we hear from the panel of juries that it is just such a difficult selection process. So I would thank you to the jury panel and congratulations to all the finalists. You really are truly role models for what great digital leadership looks like.
Absolutely. I mean, these 6 are already winners just to be the finalist of this award program. But we can only have 1 runner-up and 1 winner. So first of all, I'm going to announce the runner-up. It was a close tie, but there were 2 people that stood out. And the second place, so the runner-up this year in the European Digital Leader of the Year 2023 B2B is Oshild Hannelersen. Congratulations, Oshild. You are very, very accomplished what you did. You are the runner-up this year in this competition. And that brings us to now the announcement of the winner. And so the winner of the European Digital Leader of the Year 2023 is... So congratulations, Dr. Jochen Göttelmann from Lufthansa Cargo. We are very, very proud to have you as our winner in this category. The floor is yours. Please let us know why is it that you and your team has won this prize.
Well, to be honest, I'm super surprised, and why I win, to be honest, I don't know, because all the others already have great stories to tell. Yeah, but well, in a nutshell, what's my story to tell? Definitely how we overcame the crisis during the pandemic, how we modernized our IT, and at the same time also improved high-end customer quality. How we also
let me help you there for a moment, Jochen. I mean, the reason why the jury really has selected you is because you have done an amazing job. And you have built a new booking engine in the middle of a crisis with a completely, I mean, you have built up a new software factory in the middle of a crisis, give them then a new platform, a cloud platform to build on, and give them then a new methodology with DevOps and so on. And with that, you have built an amazing, successful implementation of the booking engine, besides other very successful implementations that you have done. So this is the core of why you have been selected, and also the strong leadership that you have shown in your organization. So congratulations for that.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to the whole jury. Also, to my dear panelists and finalists, I'm pretty sure you all would have deserved that prize. Of course, I'm more than happy to be recognized on behalf of my whole team, of my whole organization. And for me, also, it's sort of a highlight of my time at Lufthansa Cargo, which is about to end in 2 weeks, actually. So I will be moving from belly to main deck to take over the IT responsibility for Lufthansa Airlines. I already told you, Hendrik. Yeah, so in that sense, it's also a great milestone highlighted by that award for my 7.5 years at the company. And hopefully I will continue also somehow with that accomplishments also in my new role for our dear estimated guests and passengers.
And congratulations on your new job, Jochen. Quite a step up, I would say, in your career as well. I mean, you have been, I remember very well our discussion. You have been very successful as a researcher. You're a mathematician, a scientist from trade. You've had 17 years in finance, and now you're in Lufthansa. So completely different environments and success each time. So congratulations on the title, and congratulations on the new job. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in April, when we bring all the winners together in a nice dinner and celebrate all the winners in the different categories. Okay, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a small break. So we're going to take a break for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and do our panel with the B2C finalists. So let me run that for you.
VTTI is a fast-growing tank storage company. So basically, the core of our business there with Hendrik is we store products, energy products, chemicals globally. We are building in Tilburg now, here in the Netherlands, a new facility where we will be focusing on renewable natural gas. So we will be making from, I would say, cow manure. We will be making natural gas. If you look at the data there, it takes 3 cows for one household to have them on gas for a whole year.